Why do these portals still exist, dude? The event's over. Like, seriously, get rid of them. What's up, dudes and dudes of the internet? My name is Seth, and today we're going to be taking a look at pictures of each of the Divinity costumes, because honestly speaking, I was thinking about lots of you have actually been asking what the Divinity costumes end up looking like. I want to give a shout out to the people in the forums. I can't shout out everybody specifically, I'm sorry to say, otherwise we would be here all day, but people have already gotten all of the Divinity costumes. This is the Gunslinger one right here, and just to give you a sense of each of these costumes, the video effects are going to be kind of themed like this. They're going to be kind of a bluish theme style. It doesn't necessarily work with all of your class gem abilities for some of the characters. It honestly does depend. But if we hop over to the Dispoiled Divinity, these costumes are going to ultimately take, I don't know, like you get 3 Divinity souls a week if you can do Ultra Towers, which essentially makes that take, wait, what? How much is that then? 60 divided by 3, because you need 60 Divinity souls total to get all of the costumes, right? So is that 20 weeks? Something like that. I don't know. But in any case, let's just go through them all here. So right here, right now, bang, we've got the Candy Barbarian costume. And each of the costumes is going to end up coming with weapon styles and a hat style. So, you know, this is a pretty cool one for the Candy Barb, honestly speaking. I think that's nice how the Candy Barb actually has a white-themed costume, because some of the characters are definitely missing a costume that is this theme. Now, again, I do want to mention that as I slowly end up getting these costumes over time, or having some people help me out by having footage of the costumes in-game, of course, I'll have an appropriate video that's going to show all the costumes and their different video effects appropriately. But for right now, I just wanted to give you a quick little brief sneak peek preview of each of the Divinity costumes. So up next, we've got the Boom Boom Boomeranger costume right here, which has a pretty cool helmet. The sword itself is hit or miss. I don't think that it changes the style of your chickens or anything like that, unfortunately. That's kind of what I mean where I say that these costumes, despite the fact that they were actually in the game's code years ago, the fact that they've been added to the game now and aren't, like, they honestly don't feel fully fleshed out. Especially considering that they're time gated and how difficult they actually are to attain. I think that they should have at least made all of your different abilities and changing their video effects and changing the way that they look based on these Divinity costumes, even if they skipped over the class gem ability, which they still shouldn't do that either, but at least that would be acceptable. This one I'm pretty sure doesn't change the urn or anything. Honestly, I can't really confirm, though, because I'm not rocking the boomer, but the helmet at least is cool, because the helmet and the weapon style are something that you can use on all the different characters, right? So up next, we got the Chloromancer. Unfortunately, with this screenshot, we don't have the Chloromancer's helmet or staff, which I do want to confirm is actually very, very cool on the character. I actually really like the costume itself. You might not be able to see from this angle, but the shoulder pads actually have crescent moons on them. Each of the costumes are kind of crescent moon themed, so it's still a really neat costume for sure, especially for the Chloromancer to kind of have like a dark/light hero type of costume. I think it's great. And then we've got the Dino Tamer right here, which kind of sucks because the Dino Tamer's, you know, like that costume doesn't really look moon themed at all. It has the same Divinity colors for sure. And you do get the gun style and you get a really, really cool helmet to say the least. But the costume itself looks the exact same as one of the ones that you can actually buy from the Dino Tamer pack. I think it's the Wrangler costume. I'm not sure, but it looks the exact same. And no different change on the dinosaurs, man. That one I can confirm, because people are pretty upset about the fact that the Dino Tamer doesn't actually have different dinosaur babies and his ultimate doesn't change or anything like that. However, again, you can say that all of his shots and everything like that are probably going to end up being themed with that kind of lunar themed, you know, video effects and stuff, right? So here we've got the Draco, which is a pretty cool costume. Most of all, that staff looks amazing. The fact that it's a giant dragon's head and kind of has like a shield on the side, I think is really, really cool. The helmet's nice as well. I feel that that helmet, because it's kind of a darker themed, would fit with a lot more costumes than the lighter themed costume, the lighter themed helmet. Like, I think you could actually use that very easily with Shadowhunter and stuff like that. And then, of course, this is what the ultimate looks like, which is pretty funny. Like, that's pretty funny. He looks pretty stupid, dude. Like, I actually kind of like that. Ignore the little ally right there. I'm sure that's what the user was using as a mod mount or something like that. And then up next, we've got the Fade Trickster, which Merc actually has that one, and I can confirm that the video effects of that one are pretty crazy. They're all over the place. And your class gem ability, you know, doesn't really change the video. Like, the video effects work with the class gem because the class gem doesn't really change anything with the Fae. And it's a pretty cool costume. Most of all, again, because it gives gives the Fae kind of a lighter themed costume. However, we do already have one of those with that little robot costume that has like a robot on his face. The staff itself is actually really neat as well. And then we've got the Knight, which, I mean, isn't he cute? That's like the stupidest costume in the entire game. I really don't even know why it was added. It looks absolutely gross. But I do like the fact that it's unique in that you actually can see your character's eyes through the visor, as opposed to all of the other costumes where it kind of like rethemes your character to kind of be this shadowy creature that is wearing this crazy like lunar equipment. And then here's the Knight where he's just a dude with a tin can. His sword is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I guess I could see it working with some stuff. The costume itself looks absolutely gross, but the video effects are probably very, very nice. It's a very nice color palette that you get out of these. And the helmet itself, like, I want that because that looks terrible. Then we've got the Lunar Lancer right here. So that's a pretty cool costume. Unfortunately, the angle of this screenshot is more so showing the spear than the actual costume, but you can kind of get an idea that it does, in fact, make him more like a stormtrooper. I do like his helmet. I can't stand the fact that the devs never designed these helmets for the Lunar Lancer. Like, seriously, somebody should yell at the devs to make it so that as the Lunar Lancer, we can change it to a human head. Because otherwise, even his lunar costume has his stupid snout sticking out of the front, which breaks the illusion of your character being this lunar warrior shadow creature, you know? Like, it just... Oh, it's so frustrating, but at least the video effects do look different for the ultimate ability. You know, we kind of got the nice beams of light coming down, and maybe even they took the video effects from Daughter of the Moon. I think that would be really interesting to know. And then we've got the Neon Ninja right here, which is pretty hilarious. The sword itself is, I don't know. I mean, I think it's actually a complete copy and paste from another sword style that we already have in the game. The helmet, I could see working with quite a few things, like the robotic Draco and stuff like that. And the costume itself is neat. It feels a little bit boxy. I know we're dealing with voxel characters, but I do feel that this costume is a lot more blocky than the rest of the costumes for the Neon Ninja. But the video effects are absolutely beautiful, especially when you trigger your ult. Your classroom ability, of course, not affected. And then we've got the Pirate Captain right here, and his is great. His looks really, really cool. Reminds me of Tuxedo Mask or something, you know? I actually really like this one. The helmet is actually really neat, kind of an owl theme. I don't know why they're going for the whole owl theme with the Pirate Captain lately, but his little ally is also an owl as well. But most of all, I like how the front of it kind of looks like he's got, you know, kind of a skull on the front of him, and kind of like just the colors of these costumes, I really, really do enjoy. And I don't know whether or not his turrets and stuff actually are different. I would just expect that they're not, because otherwise that would be really inconsistent. If the Pirate Captain's turrets show up as differently and then the Dino Tamer's babies don't, it would just be kind of weird. Here's the Revenant's costume, which is extremely over the top, except for the Revenant just not really being that good of a class anymore. He's still a pretty decent tank, but as far as damage, I don't know, it's kind of hit or miss. He's got a pretty neat spear. I like how it's kind of a flame theme. Most of all, I really like the shield and just the style of the costume. I don't really like how he's got a moon face. It makes me think of a pie or something like that. It makes him look ridiculous, like he should have a smiley face on. But I do very much like this costume because I feel that the Revenant is definitely lacking in variety with his colors. So with this one, it makes it so that you could actually use a whole bunch of different helmets with the Revenant specifically, because otherwise the only other light-themed costume that we have for the Revenant is the Radiant-themed one, which doesn't really work with a whole lot of things just because of the fact that it's very yellow and stuff. So here we've got the Ice Sage. This one I actually think looks really, really cool. That's probably the next one that I'm going to be going for, because my next character that I've been using a lot of is the Ice Sage, just because of Dreadnought. I like how the things that are floating up behind your character are very different, you know, kind of feel like, I don't know if that's supposed to be lunar souls. That would actually be a very nice detail if it was. The staff itself is pretty cool, and the helmet I really, really like. It kind of is like, take me to your leader. It's like some weird bug-themed character, but I do think that it's very, very neat. And then here's the Shadowhunter, which... I mean, I love the Shadowhunter. I do not like this costume. I think that the costume itself is okay. Again, it feels very blocky compared to a lot of the other costumes that we've seen for him recently. And the helmet is just poop. I really, really don't like the fact that it's just like you're wearing a bowl on your head, and that for some reason he's got a fancy monocle and a little mole right there that's glowing on his face. I don't really understand. You know, it's still cool, But it's kind of weird that they made him like a Chip Cheerio, you know? Makes me honestly think of my fan-made Shadowhunter tutorial where I kind of made that character like, oh, yes, I'm the Shadowhunter, right? And then they kind of did that with him right there, which in that regard, I guess I think it's kind of cool because I guess they're trying to go for he's like more of a hunter, you know? That's why he's kind of like, yes, I'm going to destroy all the shadows, right? That's kind of why I thought that would be an appropriate voice for him. But anyways, that's my tutorial. Now, that's another tutorial video that I had for the class. Now, one thing that I do want to point out, which is very, very sad, is that bow style right there, straight up, like, come on, devs, you could have done a little bit better job with that. That bow style already exists in the game. The colors are a little bit different, but that exact bow style exists in the game and was actually created by a player, and then they just took it and made it a lunar theme and say it's like a new bow. That's kind of like, no. And then we got the Tomb Raiser right here. He's actually a very, very awesome costume. I love the moons that he's got on his back. I like how his staff, too, is like his little bone ally, but kind of has like horns in the theme of like crescent moons again. Very, very cool costume for the Tomb Raiser. The helmet also is something that I feel would work with a lot of different characters, dude. Like, that one's actually really, really neat and kind of, you know, it could even make the knight look good, you know? And then that, I think, is pretty much it outside of the Gunslinger one, which we've already been showing right here. And then last but not least, out of the Dispoiled Divinity, there's going to be the Moon Silver Dragon. This guy requires 50, so he's going to take, like... Wait, he takes somewhere around 5 months, so that means that the costumes themselves being 60 instead of 50 means that these are going to take somewhere around 5 months to get all of them, too. Yikes. That's insane. Like, that time-gated content is nuts. But in any case... Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this video, despite the fact that I know we were just looking at pictures. That's why I'm not going to try and sell this as, like, a video that's going to show, like, oh, yes, all the Divinity costumes, like, are right here. No, it's kind of going to be more of a sneak peek rather than a full reveal. But in any case, I still hope that you found the video helpful in deciding what Divinity costume you want to go for, or whether or not you want to just save for the Divinity Dragon, which looks like this. He's beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content, as well as building up loyalty points for my merch store. Links are in the description for that. Sayonara and stay epic, everybody.